And we are underway. This is competitor number 301, Joe Payne. Joe and Lex make their home at Mundubra, riding on this occasion on behalf of Rick Payne and Karen McNamara on Cashmont Bling. But unfortunately today, we only have a 22.5 for cutout. Joe was one of our round winners yesterday with an 89.5, so they go away with a two-round aggregate of 112. 1-1-2 for Joe Payne and Cashmont Bling. Cara Knutson moves into the camp. She's riding Double Inga. Cara will be followed by 303, Tony Menkins, 5 Acres. Stand by 304, Lane Mauler and Echo. 305 will be Tom Wallace, Cat Socks. 306, Royston Carter, Montana. And 307, Brett Staines, Conrad. My double competitor we watch, though, this is Cara Knutson riding her entry Double Inga. Just a correction there on Joe Payne's score. That's actually a 23 for cutout Joe. 23 points for Joe Payne and Cashmont Bling with an 89.5 in round one, a two-round aggregate of 112.5. Score there for Cara Knutson and Double Inga. 21 points for cutout, 51.5 for horsework, 3 for the course, a total of 75.5. With a 78 in round one, they go away with a two-round aggregate of 153.5. 153.5 for Cara Knutson and Double Inga. 303 working in camp. This is Tony Mankins riding his saltwater stock horses entry in 5 Acres. Tony made the trip down up from Armidale, that lovely New England area. Following Tone into the camp, please. 304, Lane Mauler, Echo. Stand by 305, Tom Wallace, Cat Socks. And 306, Royston Carter and Montana. You're not too far away. Score there for Tony Menkins and 5 Acres. 22 for cutout, 57.5 for horsework, 3 for the course, a total of 82.5. 82.5 in round two, a 21.5 yesterday in round one, gives them a two-round aggregate of 104 points for Tony Menkins and 5 Acres. On course is the call for Lane Mauler, competitor number 304, riding Echo. 305 moves into the yard, please, Tom Wallace and Cat Socks. Stand by 306, Royston Carter, Montana. 307 will be Brett Staines, Conrad. 308, Philippe Mansion and Cause I'm Acres. 309, Jackie Knutson, Snip. And 310, Ben Fogg and Backchat. Outside, though, looking for a gate here is competitor number 304, Lane Mauler, riding Echo. Thanks, Lane. Score will come through from our wonderful judges, Mr. Tom Williamson and Mr. Tony Hick. Lane Mauler and Echo had a 21.5 for cutout, a 61 for horsework, a 4 for the course, a total of 86.5. With a 69 yesterday, they go away with a two-round aggregate of 155.5. 155.5 for Lane Mauler and Echo. Tom Wallace we watch. He is riding Stuart and Kerry Wallace's entry Cat Socks. Following Tom, Royston Carter, 306, You Be Ready. Likewise, 307, Brett Staines and Conrad. Score there for Tom Wallace and Cat Socks. 15 points for cutout, 62 for horsework, 4 for the course, a total of 81. 15, 62 and 4, a total of 81 in round 2. With his 79.5 in round 1, they go away with a 2-round aggregate of 160.5 for Tom Wallace and Cat Socks, 160.5. Royston Carter is in camp, riding his own entry Montana. Following Royston, standby 307, Brett Staines, Conrad. 308, Phil Manchin, Cosime Acres. 309, Jackie Knutson, Snip. 310, Ben Fogg, Backchat. 311, Kylie Graham, One More Mellow. And 312, Ben Hall, Hall's Poetic. In camp, though, this is Warwick competitor Royston Carter and his entry Montana, competitor number 306. Unfortunately, on this occasion, Royston Carter and Montana go away with a no score, so they leave with their aggregate from yesterday in round 1 of 81.5. 81.5 for Royston Carter and Montana. Our wonderful backyard men jump in and clear that beast from the camp before we go ahead with 307, Brett Staines, riding his own entry, Conrad. Phil Manchin, you stand by at 308 on Cosime Acres, likewise 309, Jackie Knutson and Snip. 405 competitors in this McKechnie Earth-Moving Open Camp Draft. We are currently in round 2. Competitors building on first round scores, looking to qualify for that outstanding final tomorrow. And taking his turn now. This is 307. Brett Staines, riding Conrad, made the trip up from down in the south there around Maffra in Victoria. We wish them well. Brett Staines and Conrad, 308, standby, Phil Manchin and Cosime Acres. Thanks, Brett. We will have a score for Brett Staines, competitor number 307, and Conrad. Phil Manchin moves into the yard. He's 308, and riding Cosime Acres, Jackie Knutson, 309. You stand by on Snip. Score there for Brett Staines and Conrad. 19.5 for cutout, 59.5 for horsework, 4 for the course, a total of 83. 19.5, 59.5 and 4 for an 83 in round 2. With a 66 in round 1, Brett Staines and Conrad go away with a 149. Phil Manchin, we're watching, Tamworth competitor, and Cosime Acres, entry owned by Zeta Bonish. Unfortunately, though, for Phil, it's a 21 only today, and that will be their aggregate over 2 rounds. 309 moves into the yard, Jackie Knutson, local lady, riding her entry in Snip. Jackie will be followed by 310, Ben Fogg, Backchat, standby 311, Kylie Graham, One More Mellow. 312 will be Ben Hall's Poetic. 313, Wyatt Young, Cedar Vale Twist. 314, John Mulcahy, Stratton, Just Rosie. 315, Andrew Turvey and Knipes, Destiny's Playgirl. And 316, Bo Butel and Rivers. For now, though, we are watching accomplished horsewoman, number 309, Jackie Knutson, makes a home just across the way here at Kilbeggan. And she is riding Ken Knutson's entry, Snip. about it, folks? Some pretty good camp drafting here this afternoon at this wonderful second round of the McKechnie Earth Moving Open Draft. That was Jackie Knutson and her entry Snip. Put together a beautiful round. 21 for cutout, 64 for horsework, 4 for the course. That's an 89. 21, 64 and 4 for an 89 in round 2. Jackie and Snip had an 85.5 yesterday in round 1, so they go away with a 2-round aggregate of 174.5. 174.5 for Jackie Knutson and Snip. Ben Fogg we watch. He's compared to number 310, riding Backchat. 311 Standby, Kylie Graham, One More Mellow. 312 Ben Hall, Hall's Poetic. And 313 Wyatt Young, Cedar Vale Twist, You Won't Be Far Away. Score there for Ben Fogg and Backchat. 21 for cutout, 60 for horsework, 4 for the course, a total of 85. 21, 60 and 4 for an 85 in round 2. With a 14.5 in round 1, they go away with a 2-round aggregate of 99.5 for Ben Fogg and Backchat. Taroom Lady in camp, this is Kylie Graham, compared to number 311, riding another of her beautiful horses in One More Mellow. Kyle's will be followed by 312, Ben Hall, Hall's Poetic. Stand by 313, Wyatt Young, Cedar Vale Twist. John Mulcahy, you'll ride at 314 on Stratton Jess Rosie. 315, Andrew Turvey, Knipes, Destiny's Playgirl. 316, Bo Butel, Rivers. 317, Joel Hill, Hurley's Lexi. And 318, we'll see Laurie Beard and Jerry Cat. Working in camp now, though, this is Kylie Graham, compared to number 311, riding One More Mellow. Beautiful cutout of 23. Kyle's 23 points in round 2 with a 78.5 in round 1. They go away with a 2-round aggregate of 101.5. 101.5 for Kylie Graham and One More Mellow. The man of the moment, 312, is Ben Hall and Hall's Poetic. Splits his time between Muddabara and Julia Creek, does Ben. Made the trip down with his lovely wife, Jay, riding one of their own homebred mares in Hall's Poetic. 313, Wyatt Young, You Stand By, you're next in on Cedar Vale Twist. 314, Johnny Mulcahy, Stratton, Jess Rosie. And 315, Andrew Turvey, Knipes, Destiny's Playgirl. Bad luck, Ben. 22 points for cutout there for Ben Hall and Hall's Poetic with an 86 in round 1. They go away with a 2-round aggregate of 108. 108 for Ben Hall and Hall's Poetic. Tamworth competitor we're watching. This is 313. Wyatt Young riding Cedar Vale Twist on behalf of himself and his family. This is 313 into the camp, please. 314, John Mulcahy, Stratton Jess Rosie. Stand by 315, Andrew Turvey, Knipes, Destiny's Playgirl. Bad luck there, Erpy. 22 points for cutout for Wyatt Young and Cedar Vale Twist. with a 21.5 yesterday. They go away with a 2-round aggregate of 43.5. 43.5 for White Young and Cedar Vale Twist. Roma competitor we watched, John Mulcahy, riding 314, Stratton Jest Rosie. Into the camp, 315, Andrew Turvey, Canipes Destiny's Playgirl, standby 316, Beau Butel and Rivers. Bad luck Mully, 21 points for cutout in round 2 with an 82 in round 1. We go home with a 2-round aggregate of 103 points, 103 for John Mulcahy and Stratton Jest Rosie. He's a man who comes Sunday, I think will sleep very well, is Andrew Turvey, competitor number 315, riding the Willinga Park entry in Canipes Destiny's Playgirl. Andrew and Courtney and all the team here at Juandah Plains have done such a wonderful job, not just this week in hosting us all, but in the preparation and overseeing the build and design of this wonderful facility. We're so lucky to have such great contributors to our sport. We wish them well. This is Andrew Turvey riding the Willinga Park entry in Canipes Destiny's Playgirl. Following Turv, 316, Beau Butel, You Be Ready on Rivers. Likewise, 317, Joel Hill and Hurley's Lexi. Well done, Andrew. Thanks. We will have a score for Andrew Turvey and Willinga Park's entry, Canipes Destiny's Playgirl. And now that he can hear us, a big thank you to Andrew and all of his team for everything that they have done in preparation to get us here to this week. It's only Friday. We've got a massive day on the cards tomorrow. Great to see so many people, not only over in the Condabri sponsors marquee, but also perched up at the outstation waterhole. Lots of great watching here in the camp drafting arena. In this round 2 of the McKechnie Earth Moving Open Draft, Andrew Turvey and Canipes Destiny's Playgirl had a 21, a 55.5 and a 4 for an 80.5 in round 2. With an 83 in round 1, they go away with a 163.5 average. Beau Butel we're watching, 316 on Rivers. Beau makes the trip from Calbar. And this particular entry is owned by his grandfather, Don Moffat, and I saw Don arrive earlier, so I'm sure he's exceptionally impressed by the facility here at Juandah. Into the camp, 317 goes Joel Hill, Hurley's Lexi. 318 Laurie Beard, You Stand By and Jerry Cat. 319 Ty Blokeland, Cooley. 320 Harvey Wakeford, Sheridan. 321 Jason Comiskey, Saintly. 322 Alex Pope on Augustus. And 323 will be Jack Caples, Louis. 19 points for cutout Beau, 19 points in round 2. With a 13 in round 1, it's a 2-round aggregate of 32 points for Beau Butel and Rivers. Judges call forward 317, Joel Hill, riding Hurley's Lexi. Standby 318, Laurie Beard, Jerry Cat. Score of 14 for cutout there for Joel Hill and Hurley's Lexi. With a 19.5 in round 1, they have a 2-round aggregate of 33.5. 33.5 over 2 rounds for Hurley's Lexi and Joel Hill. Laurie Beard's in camp. He is riding his own entry, Jerry Cat. Makes his home at Lowood. Laurie will be followed by 319, Ty Blokeland on Cooley. Stand by 320, Harvey Wakeford and Sheridan. 321, Jason Comiskey, Saintly. And 322, Alex Pope and Augustus. On course, though, this is competitor number 318, Laurie Beard and Jerry Cat. Score there for Laurie Beard and Jerry Cat. 21 points for cutout, 59 for horsework, 4 for the course, a total of 84. 21, 59 and 4 for an 84 in round 2. With an 86.5 in round 1, Laurie Beard and Jerry Cat go away with a 2-round aggregate of 170.5. 170.5 for Laurie Beard and Jerry Cat. 319's in camp. This is Ty Blokeland and Cooley. Stand by. 220 Harvey Wakeford's Sheridan and 321, Jason Comiskey's Saintly. 322 Alex Pope Augustus. 323 Jack Cable Louis. 324 Megan McIntosh on Bougainvillea Finesse. And 325 Stuart Frame and Cascade. On course though, changing and looking for a second peg here. This is Ty Blokeland. He rides the G&M Nagel nomination in Cooley. Thanks, Ty. We will have a score shortly for Ty Blokeland and Cooley. Competitor number 319 of 22 for cutout, 62 for horsework, 4 for the course, a total of 88. 22, 62 and 4 for an 88 in round 2. 86.5 in round 1, so they go away with a 2-round aggregate of 174.5. 174.5 for Ty Blokeland and Cooley. Harvey Wakeford is looking over his cattle. He is competitor number 320 and rides Sheridan on behalf of Masab Metals. 321, Jason Comiskey, you're at the gate on Saintly. Stand by 322, Alex Pope and Augustus. Big thanks to our major partners here this weekend, making this inaugural event, the Willinga at Juandah Plains event possible. Our major partners are Sufcon, Colliers, Ollie Homes, Condabri Beef, Pumps and Solar and McKechnie Earth Movers. Wonderful partners who have supported the initiative that is the Juandah Plains Campdraft. We're so grateful to them. Harvey Wakeford goes onto the course. He is riding Sheridan. Into the camp, 321, Jason Comiskey on Saintly. Standby 322, Alex Pope. Likewise, 323, Jack Cable. Some of our other event partners include Outstation Water, Henry Earth Moving, Cobb Industry Solutions, Dulverton Angus, Herefords Australia, Roma Wire and Steel, Cree Santa Gertrudes, The Pump House, Shepherd Electrical, SJH Builders, Sandon Glenelg Angus and Rural Property and Livestock. Without our wonderful partners, running events such as this is not feasible. So where you can, make sure you get in and support them. There's lots of trade sites here. Lots of those wonderful sponsors and partners are on site. So do go up and say hello. Thank them for their support. Thank them for getting behind our sport. Jason Comiskey, we are watching. He is competitor number 321 on Saintly. Alex Pope into the yard, please. 322 on Augustus. Stand by 323, Jack Cable. Score for Harvey Wakeford and Sheridan of 20, 63 and 4 for an 87. 20 for cutout, 63 for horsework, 4 for the course, a total of 87 with a 73.5 yesterday, or in round 1, was a 160.5 over 2 rounds for Harvey Wakeford and Sheridan. 160.5 for Harvey Wakeford and Sheridan over 2 rounds. Thanks, Jace. Score will come through for Jason Comiskey and Saintly, competitor number 321. His score is 22 for cutout, 63 for horsework, 4 for the course, an 89. 22, 63 and 4 for an 89 in round 2. With an 87 in round 1, Jason Comiskey's Saintly go away with a 2-round aggregate of 176. 176 for Jason Comiskey and Saintly. Some great watching, some great event, courses and scores happening here this afternoon in round 2 of the McKechnie Earth Moving Open Draft here at the inaugural event, Willinga at Juandah Plains. 3:22, Alex Pope is preparing herself and Augustus for their run. 3:23, You Stand By, Jack Cable's Louis. 3:24, Megan McIntosh, Bougainvillea Finesse. 3:25, Stuart Frame's Cascade. And 3:26, we'll see Pretty Monica and Hugh Philp. This is Alex Pope. Made the trip up from Tamworth, riding her entry, Augustus. We've got somebody with a little bit of time on their hands. One of our gate people need relieving, so if someone's got a little bit of time on their hands and would like to jump in and give us a hand, it would be great if someone would. That would be so good. Alex Pope, we're watching, looking for a gate here. This is competitor number 322, and it's as easy as that. Score will come through for you, Alex. Alex Pope and Augustus. Thank you, Sarah Cookson. Great volunteers jumping in and giving us a hand. Our sport is one of the best at that. Score there for Alex Pope and Augustus. 18.5 for cutout, 60.5 for horsework, 4 for the course, a total of 83. 18.5, 60.5 and 4 for an 83 today. In round 1 they had a 20.5, so they go away with a 2-round aggregate of 103.5. Jack Cable we watch, competitor number 323. He is riding Lucy Nilsson's entry Louis. Into the yard, 3:24, Megan McIntosh on Bougainvillea Finesse. Standby 3:25, Stuart Frame Cascade. 3:26, Hugh Philp, Pretty Monica. 3:27, Peter Black, Out of Time. 3:28, Mick Caskey's Swindler. 3:29, Lexi Payne on Lilent Conceit. And 3:30, Troy Palmer will ride Big Red. Warrior competitor we're watching, though, and that is 3:24, Megan McIntosh and the Heinrich entry in Bougainvillea Finesse. Bad luck there, Megs. 14.5 for cutout today. 64 in round 1. They go away with a 2-round aggregate of 78.5. 78.5 for Megan McIntosh and Bougainvillea Finesse. 3:25 is in camp and waiting for some cattle. This is Stuart Frame riding Cascade. 3:26, Hugh Philp, You Stand By on Pretty Monica. 3:27, Peter Black, Out of Time. 3:28, Mick Caskey's Swindler. Unfortunately, no joy there for Stuart Frame and Cascade. They leave with a no score today. In round 1, they had a 77.5, and that will be their average over 2. 77.5 for Stuart Frame and Cascade. We will clear that beast from the camp and go ahead with Claremont competitor Hugh Philp riding his own entry, Pretty Monica. Peter Black, you stand by. 327 on out of time. Likewise, Mick Caskey and Swindler. 329 will be Lexi Payne, Lelaint Conceit. 330, Troy Palmer, Big Red. 331, William Chug on Beljay, Shandy Jane. 332, Maddie Moffat, Christmas Chisholm. And 333, Daniel Cheers and Playgirl. While the great stockmen are sorting out some of the cattle in the yard here to keep it nice and fair for all of our competitors, we'll proceed and read a few more of these wonderful partners of this event here, Willinga at Juandah Plains. Thank you to our partners Scott's Haulage, Rural Link, CopRice, ECM Livestock, Rich Living, Jordan Ag Services, Terry Standing, Westlink Petroleum, Verbac, Western Truck Group, DZ Designs, Rosevale Santa Gertrudis, and Ingemri Herefords. Once again, if you get a chance, please be sure to support our partners. These events are not able to be run without the support of wonderful businesses and organisations across our communities. So big thank you to our event partners as we move to 326. Huey Philp, he is riding his own entry in Pretty Monica. Hugh will be followed by 327, Peter Black out of time. Stand by, 328, Mick Caskey Swindler. Outside's the call for competitor number 326, Claremont competitor Hugh Philp and Pretty Monica. Into the camp, 327, Pete Black out of time. Stand by, 328, Mick Caskey and Swindler. Thanks, Huey. We will have a score for Hugh Philp and Pretty Monica, competitor number 326 of 22 for cutout, 60.5 for horsework, 4 for the course, a total of 86.5. 86.5 in round 2 with an 83.5 in round 1. Hugh Philp and Pretty Monica go away with a 2-round aggregate of 170 for Pretty Monica and Hugh Philp. 327's in camp now, looking over his cattle. This is Pete Black and out of time. Following Pete, 328, Mick Caskey Swindler. Stand by, 329, Lexi Payne, Lelaint Conceit. And 330, Troy Palmer will ride Big Red. On course for Alpha competitor Peter Black and his own entry out of time. Into camp, Mick Caskey, 328, Swindler. 329, Lexi Payne, you be ready. Likewise, 330, Troy Palmer, Big Red. 331, Will Chug on Bell J, Shandy Jane. And 332, Matthew Moffat and Christmas Chisholm. Thanks, Pete. Score for Peter Black and out of time. 22 for cutout, 62 for horsework, 4 for the course for an 88. 22, 62 and 4 for an 88 in round 2 with an 86 in round 1. They come up with a nice 2-round aggregate of 174. 174 across 2 for Peter Black and out of time. Mick Caskey's on course. He rides he rides Swindler. Mick will be followed by 329, Lexi Payne and Lelaint Conceit. Stand by, 330, Big Red and Troy Palmer. 331, William Chug, Bell J, Shandy Jane. You're not too far away. Thanks, Mick. That was Mick Caskey and Swindler, competitor number 328. We will have a score for them shortly of 21.5 for cutout, 61.5 for horsework and 4 for the course. We'll just have a bit of a moment there, Mick. We're just adjusting your score. Make that a 21.5 for cutout, a 62 for horsework, a 4 for the course, a total of 87.5. 21.5, 62 and 4, a total of 87.5 in round 2, with a 21 in round 1. They go away with a 2-round aggregate of 108.5. Working in camp now, this is 3:29. Lexi Payne and Laylent Conceit, owned by Joe and Lex. Troy Palmer, you stand by on Big Red at 3:30. 3:31, William Chug, Bell J, Shandy Jane. 3:32, Matt Moffat, Christmas Chisholm. 3:33, Daniel Cheers, Playgirl. 3:34, Stephen Hart, the medalist. And 3:35 will be Hannah Blokeland and Bluff Downs, Bigger Boy. On course now, though, this is competitor number 3:29, Lexi Payne and Laylent Conceit. Score there for Lexi Payne and Laylent Conceit. 15 for cutout, 57 for horsework, 3 for the course, a total of 75.5. 15, 57.5 and 3 for 75.5 today. With a 22 in round 1, they go away with a 2-round aggregate of 97.5 for Lexi Payne and Laylent Conceit. Working in camp now, this is 330. Troy Palmer riding the Willinga Park entry in Big Red. Stand by 3:31, William Chug, Bell J, Shandy Jane. 3:32, Matt Moffat, You're Not Far Away on Christmas Chisholm. On course proper for Big Red and Troy Palmer. As I say, another lovely entry owned by the Willinga Park horse team. Horse that Mr. Snow and Willinga Park brought over from America and campaigned on this occasion by Troy Palmer. 3:31, Will Chug, you move into the yard. Please be ready. 3:32, Matthew Moffat, Christmas Chisholm, likewise 3:33, Daniel Cheers and Playgirl. Thanks, TP. We will have a score for Troy Palmer and Big Red, competitor number 330, of 14.5 for cutout, 58.5 for horsework, 4 for the course, 77. 14.5, 58.5 and 4 for a 77 in round 2. 76 in round 1 give them a 2-round aggregate of 153 points for Troy Palmer and Big Red. William Chug, we watch, another of the great team members here, Willinga Pastoral Co. Will ride Bell J, Shandy Jane on behalf of Donna and John Finger. Matthew Moffat, you stand by at 3:32 on Christmas Chisholm. Likewise 3:33, Daniel Cheers, Playgirl. And 3:34, Stephen Hart, the medalist. On course for 3:31, William Chug riding Donna and John Finger's entry, Bell J, Shandy Jane. Matty Moffat moves into the yard at 3:32 on Christmas Chisholm. 3:33, Daniel Cheers, you stand by on Playgirl. Thanks, Chuggy. We'll have a score for William Chug and Belj Shandy Jane in their second round of the McKechnie Earth Moving Open Draft. They go away with a 14 for cutout, a 56 for horsework, a 4 for the course, a total of 74. 14, 56 and 4 for a 74 in round 2. No joy yesterday in round 1, so the 74 is what they will take for their aggregate over 2. Matt Moffat, we watch, he is competitor number 332, riding Christmas Chisholm on behalf of Kurt and Erica Hanrahan. Matt will be followed by 333, Daniel Cheers, standby 334, Stephen Hart, and the medalist. On course proper, Matty Moffat and Christmas Chisholm, competitor number 332. Matt and his lovely partner T make their home up there at Cabra around the Rockhampton area. He's been an informed competitor across the year. We saw him win the World Championships there at Sydney back in April, but he's always getting plenty done. Score for Matt Moffat and Christmas Chisholm, 22 for cutout, 57 for horsework, 3 for the course, a total of 82. 22, 57 and 3 for an 82 in round 2, and 83.5 in round 1, give them a 2-round aggregate of 165.5. 165.5 for Matthew Moffat and Christmas Chisholm. Having a look over these beautiful Willinga Park cattle, Willinga Pastoral Co. cattle rather, is Daniel Cheers, Glen Innes competitor, riding Gwen McMillan's entry Playgirl. Great to see this Gwen McMillan here this weekend, enjoying some quality camp drafting. Always been a breeder and owner of wonderful camp draft horses. On this occasion, Daniel Cheers rides her mare Playgirl. 334, Stephen Hart, you be ready on the medalist. Likewise, 335, Hannah Blokeland, Bluff Downs, Bigger Boy. 336 will see Hugh Miles, Chick Acres. 337, Harry Larnack on Exie. 338, Vicky Evans, Tullawal Classic Acres. And 339, Jay Hall will ride Posh Rio. Unfortunately for Daniel Cheers and Playgirl, they go out with a no score today, so they keep their score from yesterday of 76.5 across the two. Bad luck there, Cheersy. Our team will jump in and clean that yard up, and we'll go with 334, Stephen Hart and the Metalist. Stand by 335, Hannah Blokeland, Bluff Downs, Bigger Boy. $21 for cutout, Stephen. 21 for Stephen Hart and the Metalist with an 82 yesterday. They take home a 2-round aggregate of 103. 103 for Stephen Hart And the Metallist. Receiving cattle now, that is competitor number 335, Hannah Blokeland on Bluff Downs Bigger Boy. Hugh Miles, you please stand by on Chick Acres at 336. Likewise, 337, Harry Larnick and Exie. 338 will be Vicky Evans, Tullawall Classic Acres. 339, J Hall Posh Rio. And 340, John Templeton and Warren Bry Cobber. Go down to 403 competitors in this second round of the McKechnie Earth Moving Open Draft before we proceed with the ladies' Campdraft. That'll be held this afternoon. The Sandon Glenelg and Dulverton Ladies Shootout will be held at the completion of this second round of the McKechnie Earth Moving Open. We're now watching competitor number 335 in that draft. Round 2, Hannah Blokeland riding Bluff Downs Bigger Boy. Hugh Miles moves into the yard. He is competitor number 336. 337, Harry Larnick, you stand by on Exie. Score there for Hannah Blokeland and Bluff Downs Bigger Boy. 20 for cutout, 60.5 for horsework, 4 for the course, and 84.5. 20, 60.5 and 4 for an 84.5 in round 2. With a 20 in round 1, they go away with a 2-round aggregate of 104.5 for Hannah Blokeland and Bluff Downs Bigger. Tamworth competitor we're watching, 336, Hugh Miles riding his entry Chick Acres. He's certainly making it look easy there, Huey. Score will come through for Hugh Miles and Chick Acres, competitor number 336. Harry Larnick moves into the yard, 337. On Exie, you stand by, 338. Vicky Evans and Tullawall Classic Acres. Score for Huey Miles and Chick Acres. No wonder it looked easy, Hugh. 23 for cutout, 65 for horsework, 4 for the course, a total of 92. 23, 65 and 4, a total of 92 in round 2. For Hugh Miles and Chick Acres. With the 22 in round 1, they go away with a 2-round aggregate of 114 points for Hugh Miles and Chick Acres. Outside's the call for 337, Harry Larnick's Exie. Into the camp, please. 338, Vicky Evans, Tullawall Classic Acres. 339, J Hall Posh Rio, you stand by. Likewise, 340, John Templeton, Warren Bry Cobber. 341, Wyatt Young making hats off to Shakira. 342, Rick Hopkins, Oaks Spin and Cat. 343, Paul Carrigue on one more Stormcat. 344, Mark Buttsworth, A Little Turbulence. And 345, Barry Johnson will ride Hope. Score for Harry Larnick and Exie, competitor number 337, 21.5 for cutout, 58 for horsework, 4 for the course, total of 83.5. 21.5, 58 and 4, a total of 83.5. In round 2, with an 82 in round 1, Harry Larnick and Exie go away with a 165.5. 165.5 over 2 for Harry and Exie. Sorry, an edit there to Harry Larnick's score. 21.5, 63 and 4, Harry, so an 88.5. 21.5, 63 and 4 for an 88.5 in round 2. 82 in round 1 gives you a 2-round aggregate of 170.5 for Harry Larnick and Exie. Working on camp now, this is Vicky Evans riding her own entry Tullawall Classic Acres. Made the trip up from over on the coast of New South Wales at Nabiac. Thanks, Vic. We'll have a score shortly for Vicky Evans and Tullawal. Classic Acres. 339's in camp. That's Jay Hall and Posh Rio. 340, John Templeton, Warren Bry Cobber, You Stand By. Likewise, 341, Wyatt Young, making hats off to Shakira. And 342, Rick Hopkins, Oaks, Spin and Cat. Vicky Evans and Tullawal, Classic Acres, have a 14.5 for cutout, a 59 for horsework, a 4 for the course, a total of 77.5, 14.5, 59 and 4 for a 77.5 in round 2. With a first round score of 21, they go away with a 2-round aggregate of 98.5. 98.5 for Vicky Evans and Tullawal, Classic Acres. Working camp now. This is Jay Hall, competitor number 339, riding her own entry in Posh Rio. As I mentioned yesterday, Jay has made the magnificent perpetual trophies that are currently located up at the Condabri Beef Sponsors marquee. So go up and have a look. There's a range of prizes, beautiful garlands and trophies, including the buckles for the winners of these events. But most importantly, there's a beautiful perpetual trophy made by the very talented Jay Hall. So go and have a look at Jay's bronzes. We've all got our eye on the prize as we build scores here in this second round of the McKechnie Earth Moving Open Draft. Thanks, Jay. Score there for Jay Hall and Posh Rio, 20.5 for cutout, 48.5 for horsework, 2 for the course, a total of 71, 20.5, 48.5 and 2 for a 71 in round 2, 20.5 in round 1 gives them a 2-round aggregate of 91.5 for Jay Hall and Posh Rio, 91.5. Jay? John Templeton, we're watching, competitor number 340, riding Steve Joyce's entry, Warren Bry Cobber. Wyatt Young, You Stand By on Making Hats Off to Shakira, 341. Likewise, 342, Rick Hopkins, Oaks, Spin and Cat. Paul Carrig will ride at 343, One More Stormcat. 344, Mark Buttsworth, A Little Turbulence. 345, Barry Johnson, Hope. 346, Jodie Cowley, Smith Family, Smooth Class. And 347, Gunnin' Down and Jamie Gray. Score for John Templeton of a 22 in round 2 with an 85.5 in round 1. They go away with a 2-round aggregate of 107.5 for John Templeton and Warren Bry Cobber. Wyatt Young, we're watching, the Tamworth competitor, riding 341, making hats off to Shakira on behalf of Barry Henson. 342, Rick Hopkins, You Move into the camp on Oaks, Spin and Cat. Standby of 343, Paul Carrig on One More Stormcat. Score for Wyatt Young and making hats off to Shakira, 21.5 for cutout, 60 for horsework, 4 for the course, a total of 85.5. 21.5 60 and 4 for an 85.5 in round 2. With an 88 in round 1, they go away with a 2-round aggregate of 173.5 for Wyatt Young, and Megan hats off to Shakira. 173.5 for Wyatt Young. 342, Rick Hopkins we just watched, and Rick goes away with a score of 22 for cutout, 59.5 for horsework, 4 for the course, a total of 85.5. 22, 59.5 and 4 for an 85.5 in round 2. With a 71.5 in round 1, they go away with a 2-round aggregate of 157 for Rick Hopkins and Oaks Spinnin' Cat. 157 for you there, Rick. Waiting on some cattle now. This is 343, Paul Carrigue. On One More Stormcat. Mark Buttsworth, you stand by on Little Turbulence at 344. 345, Barry Johnson's Hope. 346, Jodie Cowley, Smith Family Smooth Class. 347, Jamie Gray Gunning Down. 348, Bryony Puttycombe, Moulin Rouge. 349, Alan Heading, Lime Hills Eve. And 350, Beck Hayes, Shadak Q Baby. In camp though, this is 343, Paul Carrigue, One More Stormcat. Bad luck there for Paul Carrigue and One More Stormcat. They go out with a no score today in round 2 with a 16.5 in round 1. They will take that as their aggregate. Cattle out, cattle in, and we will go to competitor number 344. Mark Buttsworth and a Little Turbulence. 345, Barry Johnson, you stand by on Hope. Likewise, 346, Jodie Cowley, Smith Family, Smooth Class. It was a nice start, Butsy. 23 points for cutout there for Mark Buttsworth and a Little Turbulence. 23 in round 2 with a 22 in round 1. They have a 2-round aggregate of 45. 45 points over 2 for Mark Buttsworth and a Little Turbulence. Entry owned by Don Williams. 345 we move to Barry Johnson riding his entry Hope. Barry makes the trip from Hewenden. We'll move to 346, Jodie Cowley on Smith Family Smooth Class. You're next. 347, Jamie Gray gunning down. 348, Bryony Puttycombe, Moulin Rouge. And 349 will be Alan Heading and Lime Hills Eve. On course proper, though, this is Hughenden competitor Barry Johnson and Hope. Score at 22.5. Barry, 22.5 in round 2 with a 79.5 in round 1. You take home a 2-round aggregate of 102. 102 for Barry Johnson and Hope. Now judges call forward. Competitor number 346, Jodie Cowley, riding Smith Family Smooth Class. Standby 347, Jamie Gray, gunning down. Bryony Puttycombe will ride Moulin Rouge at 348. 349, Alan Heading, Lime Hills Eve. 350, Beck Hayes, Shadak Q Baby. 351, Lachlan Thompson, Hootie. 352, Roger Boschhammer on Paracon. 353, Rowan Marks, Turner Stud, Goolagong. And 354, Carolyn Roberts on Miss Moneypenny. In camp, though, this is competitor number 346 from Mount Beppo. This is Jodie Cowley and Smith Family Smooth Class. Score there for Jodie Cowley and Smith Family Smooth Class. 13.5 for cutout, 59.5 for horsework, 4 for the course, a total of 77. 13.5, 59.5 and 4 for a 77 in round 2. Didn't have a great day yesterday, so they take that as their aggregate over to 77 for Jodie Cowley, Smith Family Smooth Class. 347's on camp. On course now, Jamie Gray riding Gunning Down. Into the yard, please. 348, Bryony Puttycombe, Moulin Rouge. 349, You Stand By, Alan Heading, Lime Hills Eve. And 350, Beck Hayes, Shadak Q Baby. Go through to 405 in this second round of the McKechnie Earth Moving Open Draft. Before we will proceed with the Sandon, Glenelg and Dulverton Angus Lady Shootout. So a big afternoon of camp drafting coming our way. Jamie Gray has a 21.5 in round 2, 21.5 for cutout. Added with his 84.5 from round 1, they go away with a 2-round aggregate of 106. 106 for Jamie Gray and Gunning Down. Nebo Lady we watch. This is Bryony Puttycombe riding Moulin Rouge at 348. 349, Alan Heading, You Stand By. Likewise, 350, Beck Hayes, Shadak Q Baby. Score there for Bryony Puttycombe and Moulin Rouge, 21.5 for cutout, 62.5 for horsework, 4 for the course, total of 88. 88 points in round 2 with an 86 in round 1. Bryony Puttycombe and Moulin Rouge have a 2-round aggregate of 174. Great job, Pud. 174 for Bryony Puttycombe and Moulin Rouge. 3:49 working in camp now. This is Alan Heading. Alan is riding Gary Ryan's entry, Lime Hills Eve. Beck Hayes, you stand by on Shadak Q Baby at 350. 351 Lachlan Thompson's Hootie. 352 Roger Boschhammer, Arengli Paracon. 353 Rowan Marks, Turner Marks, Goolagong. 354 Carolyn Roberts, Miss Money Penny. 355 Joe Marr rides Indigo. 356 Bruce McNaughton, Cuban Cigars. And 357 Lloydie Davidson, Fossil Downs Concat. On course though, this is competitor number 349, Lime Hills Eve and Alan Heading. Score there for Alan Heading and Lime Hills Eve. 22 for cutout, 55.5 for horsework, 3 for the course, total of 80.5. 22, 55.5 and 3 for an 80.5 in round 2. With a 19 in round 1, they have a 2-round aggregate of 99.5 for Alan Heading and Lime Hills Eve. 350 we watch. This is Beck Hayes riding Shadak Q Baby on behalf of Michael and Beck. Lachlan Thompson, you stand by, 351 on Hootie. Likewise, 352, Roger Boschhammer's Paracon. Thanks, Beck. That was Beck Hayes and Shadak Q Baby. They go away with a 20.5. 20.5 in round 2. With a 78 in round 1, it's a 99.5 over 2. Sorry, Beck, that was 21.5. 21.5 for Beck Hayes in round 2 with a 78 in round 1, 99.5. 99.5 for Beck Hayes and Shadak Q Baby. We're at the changeover mark, so competitor number 351, Lachlan Thompson, is receiving a new pen of cattle. Continuation of these beautiful Willinga Pastoral Company cattle. 351, Lachlan Thompson. 352, Roger Boschhammer, you stand by. 353, Rowan Marks, Turner Marks, Goolagong. 354, Carolyn Roberts will ride Miss Money Penny. And 355, Joe Marr and Indigo. Hey ladies and gentlemen, while we've got plenty of camp drafting to happen this afternoon, don't forget that tonight we will also have that life flight auction. We're going to auction off the road train of export quality oat and hay Hay's kindly been donated by Claire at Hill River Hay. The freight's been donated by GVS Freight Services. And Andrew will deliver the hay for free within a 200-kilometre radius of Juandah on the Sunday. So don't forget, we are having that wonderful auction for Life Flight tonight, about a 7:30 start. So get your syndicates together or whatever you need to do there. We're definitely keen to support that wonderful service that looks after rural and regional Australia in Life Flight. So that auction will be tonight. Road train of export quality oat and hay being auctioned off around that 7:30 mark. The valuation of that semi-trailer, per semi-trailer, is about $12,000. So definitely worth having a look at it and getting your crew together for a 7:30 start on that auction. The other thing that's going to happen tonight is our Maiden for Maiden Calcutta. Along with the Life Flight auction, there'll be a Calcutta on the Maiden for Maiden final. And we have got that established, that all scores from that Maiden, there's 25 in total rather, all outside scores in that Maiden for Maiden final tomorrow. So bid up big and we could be on a winner. Outside, 4-3-5-1, Lachlan Thompson on Hootie. Roger Boschhammer moves into the yard, 352, riding Aranglee Paracon. Sorry, Rog. 353, Rowan Marks, don't be too far away on Turner Marks, Goolagong. Score for Lachlan Thompson and Hootie, 21.5 for cutout, 61 for horsework, 4 for the course, a total of 86.5. 21.5, 61 and 4 for an 86.5 in round 2 with a 17.5 in round 1. They leave with a 104 as an aggregate over 2. Roger Boschhammer, we watch his competitor 352 riding Paracon. Roger and Tam, some of the sponsors of our ladies Campdraft this afternoon, Sandon Glenelg and Dulverton Ladies Shootout. So big thank you to Roger and Tam and the team at Sandon Glenelg for getting behind the inaugural event here, Willinga at Juandah Plains. We wish them well on this occasion in the second round of the McKechnie Earth Moving Open Draft. This is Roger Boschhammer and Paracon. 353 moves into the yard. Rowan Marks, Turner Marks, Goolagong. Stand by, 354, Carolyn Roberts, Miss Money Penny. Score of 17 for cutout for Roger Boschhammer with an 80.5 yesterday. Roger and Paracon go away with a 97.5. Working out outside now, this is competitor number 353, Rowan Marks, riding Turner Marks Goolagong. Into the camp, 354, Carolyn Roberts on Miss Moneypenny. Standby 355, Joe Ma Indigo. 356, Bruce McNaughton's Cuban Cigars. 357, Lloyd Davidson Fossil Downs Concat. 358, Penny McIntosh on Cinderella. 359, Michael Hiscock Rides Advice. And 360 will be Pete Comiskey and Seligans. Thanks, Marksy. We will have a score for Rowan Marks and Turner Marks Goolagong. Score there for Rowan Marks and Turner Marks Goolagong. 21 for cutout, 60.5 for horsework, 4 for the course, a total of 85.5. 21, 60.5 and 4 for an 85.5 in round 2. 86.5 in round 1 gives Rowan Marks and Turner Marks Goolagong a 172 aggregate over 2. So it's a 172 for Rowan Marks and Goolagong. Calling for a gate and looking to head outside. This is competitor number 354, Carolyn Roberts and Miss Moneypenny. Into the camp, 355, Joe Ma, Indigo. Stand by, 356, Brucey McNaughton and Cuban Cigars. 20.5, Carolyn, 20.5 in round 2 for Carolyn Roberts, Miss Moneypenny. With the 21 in round 1, they have a 2-round aggregate of 41.5. Rightio, having a look at his cattle rather. This is Joe Ma, competitor number 355. Joe makes his home at Mount Marshall there, up around the Warwick area with his lovely wife Rose and the kids. He is riding on this occasion Indigo. Bruce McNaughton, you stand by, 356 on Cuban Cigars, 357 Lloyd Davidson's Fossil Downs Concat, and 358 Penny McIntosh and Cinderella. Bad luck, Joe Ma. 21 for cutout, 21 in round 2 with an 86.5 in round 1. They have a 2-round aggregate of 107.5. 107.5 for Joe Ma and Indigo. Looking over his cattle, this is one of the masters of our sport. This is Bruce McNaughton, competitor number 356, riding his own entry in Cuban Cigars. A great competitor, now makes his home at Tamworth. 357 moves into the yard. Lloyd Davidson, Fossil Downs Concat. Stand by, 358 Penny McIntosh on Yin Baron Cinderella. 359 Michael Hiscock Advice. 360 Pete Comiskey Seligance. 361 Kathy Aquilina Durax Jewel. And 362 will be David Murphy and Mobile Nick. Working outside though, this is competitor number 356, Bruce McNaughton and Cuban Cigars. Thanks, Brucey. Score for Bruce McNaughton and Cuban Cigars. 21 for cutout, 58 for horsework, 4 for the course. A total of 83. 21, 58 and 4 for an 83 in round 2. With a 76 in round 1, Bruce McNaughton and Cuban Cigars go away with a 159 aggregate. 159 points for Bruce McNaughton and Cuban Cigars. Lloyd Davidson, we watch. He rides Fossil Downs Concat. Lloyd makes his home at Taroom. Will be followed here by 358 Penny McIntosh Cinderella. Stand by 359 Michael Hiscock and Advice. Score for Lloydie Davidson and Fossil Downs Concat 19.5 for cutout. Lloyd 19.5 with your 80 yesterday is a 2-round aggregate of 99.5. 99.5 over 2 for Lloyd Davidson and Fossil Downs Concat. Lundavar competitor we're watching, great horseman in Penny McIntosh, riding her entry Cinderella, competitor number 358. Michael Hiscock, you be ready on advice at 359, 360. Pete Comiskey, Seligance, 361. Kathy Aquilina, Durax Jewel. Thanks, Pretty Penny. Score there for Penny McIntosh and Cinderella. 14.5 for cutout, 55.5 for horsework, 4 for the course, a total of 74. 14.5, 55.5 and 4, a 74 in round 2 with an 80 in round 1. They have a 2-round aggregate of 154 for Penny McIntosh and Cinderella. Michael Hiscock, we're watching. He's competitor number 359, is Michael Hiscock and his entry Advice. Combination of previously won a Warwick Gold Cup. A mighty combination indeed, and Michael himself has also won the Open down there at Willinga Park on the coast. This time though, we're in the second round of the McKechnie Earth Moving Open here, the Willinga at Juandah Plains. It's 359, Michael Hiscock and Advice. Into the yard please, 360, Peter Comiskey and Seligance, stand by 361, Kathy Aquilina and Durex Jewel. Score there for Michael Hiscock and Advice. Shortly. We will have a score shortly for Michael Hiscock and Advice. Pete Comiskey we watch. He is 360 and rides Seligance. 361, Kathy Aquilina, you stand by on Durax Jewel. 362, David Murphy and Mobile Nick. 363, Ben Knight, Hit the Road Cat. 364, Lindsay Hindle, Players Garter. 365, Jason Lindley, Malunga's Twinkle. 366, Jim Lawton's Orchie. And 367 will be Zane Haberman and Memphis. Working now, though, this is Nebo competitor. Pete Comiskey riding Seligance. Score there for Michael Hiscock and Advice. 17 for cutout, 56 for horsework, 4 for the course, a total of 77. 17, 56 and 4 for a 77 in round 2. 86 yesterday in round 1, give them a 2-round aggregate of 163. 163 points for Michael Hiscock's Advice. Pete Comiskey we just saw riding Seligance. They had a 22.5 for cutout, 64 for horsework, 4 for the course, a total of 90.5. A lovely round there, 22.5, 64 and 4 for a 90.5 in round 2. With a 75.5 in round 1, they have a 2-round aggregate of 166. Pete Comiskey and Seligans have a 2-round aggregate of 166. Kathy Aquilina, we're watching, riding Lloyd and Kathy's entry in Durax Jewel. David Murphy, you stand by at 362 on Mobile Nick. 363, Ben Knight, Hit the Road Cat, stand by also. And Lindsay Hindle, 364, Players Garter. $20.5. Kathy, 20.5 for cutout today in round 2. 19.5 in round 1. Give you a 2-round aggregate of 40. 40 points for Kathy Aquilina and Durax Jewel, competitor number 361. Talbot competitor we have in camp. This is David Murphy, number 362, riding Jim Coleman's entry, Mobile Nick. 363, Ben Knight, you stand by on Hit the Road Cat. Lindsay Hindle, 364 on Players Garter. 365, Jason Lindley on Malunga's Twinkle. 366, Jim Lawton's Orchie. 367, Zane Haberman, Memphis. 368, Matt Durkin, Twice More. 369, Amanda Hollis, Adios Recess. And 370 is Shari Knutson and Chicks Playgirl. Working now, though, in the camp, this is David Murphy, competitor number 362 on Mobile Nick. Score there for David Murphy and Mobile Nick. 20 for cutout, 60.5 for horsework. For the course, a total of 84.5. 20, 60.5 and 4 for an 84.5 in round 2. With a 21 in round 1, David Murphy and Mobile Nick have a 2-round aggregate of 105.5. 105.5 for David Murphy, Mobile Nick. Ben Knight's in camp. He rides Hit the Road Cat, competitor number 363. Standby 364, Lindsay Hindle, Players Garter. 365, Jason Lindley on Malunga's Twinkle. You're not too far away. Hey, once again, a reminder for that Shepherd Electrical Maiden for Maiden. We have 25 people qualifying for that final. So all outside scores for those who nominated in the Shepherd Electrical Maiden for Maiden. It was run in conjunction with our maiden, so we've got that clean slate final scheduled. The winner of the Maiden for Maiden will take home a Ride Tough buckle and $1,250. And don't forget, tonight we're going to have a Calcutta on those finalists for everyone to get in on the action. Thank you to Sean O'Hanlon for auctioneering that Calcutta, and also to Toowoomba Wholesale Horse Warehouse for providing an embroidered rug to the winner and a Champion Choice brow bands for the Garland. So that's the Maiden for Maiden. All that action will start tonight with the Calcutta on those 25 finalists. And just for those Maiden for Maiden riders, your draw is posted up at the outstation waterhole, so what a good reason to go and have a little visit up there. The Maiden for Maiden draw is posted up at the outstation waterhole, so drop up, have a look at your number and maybe have a nerve settler while you're there. Score for Ben Knight and Hit the Road Cat. 21 for cutout, 62.5 for horsework. 4 for the course, a total of 87.5. 21, 62.5 and 4 and 87.5 for Ben Knight. Hit the Road Cat with a 19 in round 1. Gives him a 2-round aggregate of 106.5 for Ben Knight. Hit the Road Cat. Highfield's competitor we're watching. This is Lindsay Hindle, riding Lindsay and Belinda's entry, Players Garter. Lindsay will be followed by 365, Jason Lindley, Malunga's Twinkle. 366, Jim Lawton, Orchie. 367, Zane Haberman, Memphis. 368, Matt Durkin, Twice More. 369, Amanda Hollis, Adios Recess, and 370, Shari Knutson, Chicks Playgirl. Outside, though, this is Lindsay Hindle, competitor number 364, and that riding Players Garter. $21 points, Lindsay. 21 points for Lindsay Hindle, Players Garter, with an 80.5 in round 1. 2-round aggregate of 101.5 for Lindsay Hindle and Players Garter. Gracemere competitor in camp. This is Jason Lindley riding Evan and Kim Acton's beautiful nomination in Malunga's Twinkle. Jim Lawton, you stand by at 66 on Orchie. 367 Zane Haberman, Memphis. You're not too far away, my friend. Thanks, Jason. We'll have a score shortly for Jason Lindley and Malunga's Twinkle. That entry owned by Evan and Kim Acton. A score of 21.5 for cutout, 62 for horsework, 4 for the course, a total of 87.5. 21.5, 62 and 4 for an 87.5 in round 2. With an 83.5 in round 1, they go away with a 2-round aggregate of 171. 171 points for Jason Lindley and Malunga's Twinkle. We now turn our attention to Morong competitor Jim Lawton riding his own entry Orchie. Jim will be followed by Zane Haberman 367 on Memphis. Matty Durkin, you stand by on Twice More at 368. Likewise 369 Amanda Hollis and Adios Recess. Bad luck there, Jim. No joy for Jim Lawton and Orchie, so they go out with their first round score of 14. Zane Haberman's looking over his cattle now. He is riding Zane and Kerry's entry Memphis. Amanda Hollis, you stand by at 369 on Adios Recess. 370, my friend Shari, don't be too far away. Unfortunately for my friend Zane Haberman, they go out with a no score on that occasion, so they keep their 87.5 from round 1. Bad luck, Habbo. 368 will move into the yard. Matt Durkin on Twice More. Once the wonderful help from Willinga Pastoral Co. jump in and remove that that heifer. We will go with 368. Matt Durkin riding his own entry in Twice More. Amanda Hollis, you stand by on Adios Recess at 369. 370, Shari Knutson, Chicks Playgirl. 371, Hugh Miles on June. 372, Justin Vivas, Cupid. 373, Wyatt Young, Electric Kelly. 374 will be Tom Barnes and Willinga Park, Nikita. And 375, Jacinta Brennan and Foxy. You're watching now, though, competitor number 368, Matt Durkin and Twice More. $14.5, Matt. 14.5 for Matt Durkin and Twice More with a 21 in round one. They have a 35.5 average. Amanda Hollis is in camp, competitor number 369. Thanks, Pete. Jumping in and giving us a hand, removing some cattle there. So Amanda Hollis is just waiting to receive some cattle, and she will go on with her run on Adios Recess. Shari Knutson to be at the gate on Chicks Playgirl. Stand by 371, Hugh Miles, June. 372, Justin Vivas, Cupid. Stand by 373, Wyatt Young, Electric Kelly. Don't forget all of those competitors who have been tossing up the idea if they want to join the team's draft or not. Please make sure you jump down and see Lauren. It's $1,000 to nominate, and they'll pay 3 places. It's a fun event, and it certainly will provide some great spectating for those of us standing at the outstation waterhole, that's for sure. So if you want to be in on that team's draft, you make sure you get down and see Lauren. I'm sure there'll be a few bonus points if you can find yourself a costume along the way. Amanda Hollis, we watch, Tamworth competitor, riding her entry, Adios Recess. Big thanks to Amanda and Tim. Her husband Tim judged the maiden earlier. And we'll be back in the judging seat for that final tomorrow. Thanks, Branson. We'll have a score for Amanda Hollis and Adios Recess, competitor number 369. Of 21 for cutout, 62 for horsework, 4 for the course, total of 87. 21, 62 and 4 for an 87 in round 2. With a 76 in round 1, Amanda Hollis and Adios Recess take away a 2-round aggregate of 163. Turn our attention to local lady. This is Shari Knutson, competitor number 370, riding her entry in Chicks Playgirl. We saw Shari post a big score earlier today, so she's up there in the leaderboard. On this occasion, she rides Chicks Playgirl. We wish them well. Into the camp, Hugh Miles, 371 on June. Standby 372, Justin Vivers, Cupid. 373, Wyatt Young, Electric Kelly. 374, Tom Barnes, Willinga Park, Nikita. 375, Jacinta Brennan's Foxy. 376, Oliver Salareno on Hazelwood Country. Sorry, Oliver. 377, Malcolm Ryan and Bulla Lawler. And 378, Joe Payne, Little Twirl. Good job, Shazzy K. Score will come through for Shari Knutson, Chicks Playgirl.
Lindy's done the ladies, isn't she?
21.5 for camp, 63 for horsework, 4 for the course, a total of 88.5 for Shari Knutson and Chicks Playgirl, 21.5, 63 and 4 for an 88.5, with an 82 in round 1. Shari Knutson and Chicks Playgirl go away with a 171. 171 points for you there, Shaz. Hugh Miles we're watching, Tamworth competitor, riding June, 372, Justin Vivers, You Be Ready on Cupid, likewise 373, Wyatt Young and Electric Kelly. I'll hand you back to my wonderful co-announcer in Leslie Deneen, and we will see you a little later in the day.
Thanks very much, Heidi. Heidi Smith. She's just going to warm up her ladies' horse, and very good luck there to Heidi. Now we have a score coming through shortly. Score for Hugh Miles and June, cut out 19, and 19 only, with an 84.5 in the first round is an aggregate of 103.5. 103.5 for Hugh Miles and June. You're now watching competitor 372, Justin Vivers and Cupid. Standing by 373, Wyatt Young. 374, Tom Barnes. 375, Jacinta Brennan. 376, Oliver Solarino. 377, Malcolm Ryan. 378, Joe Payne. 379, Troy Palmer. 380, Bruce Myers. 381, Sky Rendazzo. 382, Ben Hall. 384, Matthew Moffat. Please stand by. You're currently watching competitor 372, Justin Vivers and Cupid. Score for Justin Vivers and Cupid, cut out 21.5, horsework 62, course 4, for a total of 87.5, with the 20.5 in the first round is an aggregate of 108. 108 for Justin Vivers and Cupid. You are watching competitor 373 out on the course, Wyatt Young and Electric Kelly. 374 goes on camp. Tom Barnes with Willinga Park Nikita, standing by 375, Jacinta Brennan. And we do have a score for Wyatt Young, Electric Kelly, cut out 21.5 with an 86 in the first round. That's a total of 107.5 for Wyatt Young, Electric Kelly. Currently watching competitor 374, Tom Barnes, Willinga Park, Nikita, out on the course. Score for Tom Barnes, cut out 21.5 with a 69.5 in the first round. That's an aggregate of 91 for Tom Barnes, Willinga Park, Nikita. 375 is on camp, Jacinta Brennan, standby 376, Oliver Solarino. 377's Malcolm Ryan, 378 Joe Payne, 379 Troy Palmer. 380 Bruce Myers, 381 Sky Randazzo, 382 Ben Hall, 383 Matthew Moffat, 384 Peter Black, 385 Susan Donastis, 386 Cameron Webster, 387 Harvey Wakeford, 388 is Tim Hollis, and 389 is Stuart Wallace. Please stand by. Currently watching out on course, competitor 375, Jacinta Brennan and Foxy. And if you've just tuned in, you're watching the McKechnie Earth Moving Open Campdraft, round 2. Score for Jacinta Brennan and Foxy, cut out 20.5, horsework 62.5, course 4 for an 87 with a 19.5 in the first round. That's an aggregate of 106.5 for Jacinta Brennan's Foxy. .376 is on camp, Oliver Solarino with Hazelwood Country. Nanango competitor Malcolm Ryan is at the gate at 377 with Bulla Lawler. Standing by 378 Joe Payne, 379 Troy Palmer. Oliver's out on course. 377 Malcolm Ryan goes into the camp. Stand by 378 Joe Payne. And we have a cutout score of 13.5 for Oliver with an 87 in the first round. That's an aggregate of 100.5 for Oliver Solarino and Hazelwood Country. Take this opportunity to thank our judges, Tom Williamson and Tony Hick, for accepting the opportunity to judge the McKechnie Earth Moving Open Campdraft this week at Willinga at Juandah Plains Campdraft. Course 3's Gaydon is on course, competitor 377, Malcolm Ryan and Bulla Lawler. Joe Payne goes on camp at 378, standby 379, Troy Palmer, 380, Bruce Myers, 381, Sky Randazzo, 382 will be Ben Hall. Score for Malcolm Ryan was a 22 for cutout, with a 74 in the first round is an aggregate of 96 points. 96 points there for Malcolm Ryan and Bulla Lawler. Looking over his cattle now is competitor 378, Mundubra Horseman, Joe Payne riding Little Twirl. Standing by is 379 Troy Palmer, 380 Bruce Myers, 381 Sky Randazzo and 382 Ben Hall. Out on course, competitor 378, Joe Payne, Little Twill. Or Little Twirl. 379's on camp, Troy Palmer. Score for Joe Payne, cut out 21, horsework 61.5, course 4 for a total of 86.5, with an 87.5 in the first round, gives Joe Payne an aggregate of 174, 174 for Joe Payne and Little Twirl. You're now watching competitor 379, Troy Palmer, Hell's a Comin'. 380 goes on camp, Bruce Myers, standby 381, Sky Randazzo, standby also 382, Ben Hall, 383, Matthew Moffat, 384, Peter Black, 385, Susan Dynastis, 386, Cameron Webster, 387, Harvey Wakeford, and 388 will be Tim Hollis. If you could please stand by. Thank you very much to all the competitors who have been very cooperative all day. We're certainly running how we would like to be. We really appreciate the fact that you get over here and have your cattle picked and keep the show moving. Also, a big thank you to our judges for keeping it all moving and our arena cleaners. So we have a score there for Troy Palmer, Hells Are Comin'. Cut out 23, horsework 62, course 4 for an 89 with an 87 in the first round. That's an aggregate of 176. Bruce Myers now, 380. Riding the Cat's Whiskers, standby 381, Sky Randazzo, 382, Ben Hall. Brucey Myers out on course at 380 with the Cat's Whiskers. Sky's on camp at 381, standby 382, Ben Hall. Don't forget the maiden for maiden draw is up at the bar. It's up at the outstation waterhole if you'd like to check what your draw is in the maiden for maiden. Unfortunately, it will not SMS out. We've been unable to do that, so you just have to go and check your number. Or after the ladies come and see Lauren. We have a score coming through for Brucey Myers very shortly. Score for Bruce Myers, cut out 18, horsework 60.5, course 4 for an 82.5. He had an 86 in the first round. That's a 168.5, 168.5 points for Bruce Myers and the Cat's Whiskers. On the course now is competitor 381, Sky Randazzo with Tell Us I'm Smooth. 382 goes on camp, Ben Hall, Chisholm's Cash. Standing by 383, Matthew Moffat, 384, Peter Black, 385, Susan Dynastis, 386, Cameron Webster, 387, Harvey Wakeford, 388, Tim Hollis, 389, Stuart Wallace, 390, Michael Hayes, 391, Kerry Turner, 392, Lloyd Aquilina. Score for Sky Randazzo, Tell Us I'm Smooth, cut out 21, horsework 44.5, course 2 for a total score of 67.5, with a 16.5 in the first round. That's an aggregate of 84 points. It's 84. Selecting a beast now is competitor 382, Ben Hall and Chisholm's Cash. Standing by then 383, Matthew Moffat, 384, Peter Black, 385, Susan Denastis, 386, Cameron Webster. Andrew Turvey, if you can hear us, could you come to the announcers box? We just need some confirmation around the cutout. Andrew Turvey, if you are around, could you come to the announcers box, please? Score for Ben Hall, Chisholm's Cash, cutout 22, horsework 63.5, course 4 for a total of 89.5, had an 87 in the first round. That gives him a total score of 176.5, 176.5 for Ben Hall and Chisholm's Cash. Matthew Moffat is out on course at 383, She Be a Cat. Peter Black's on camp at 384, Maximus, down by 385, Susan Denastis, 386, Cameron Webster, 387, Harvey Wakeford, 388, Tim Hollis, 389, Stuart Wallace, 390, Michael Hayes. Just double checking the score for Matthew Moffat and She Be a Cat, cut out 22, horsework 61.5, course 4 for a total of 87.5, 89.5 in the first round, that's a total of 177. Score for Peter Black and Maximus is 21, 63 and 4 for an 88, with an 88 in the first round, it's a total of 176, 176 for Peter Black and Maximus. And currently we have on camp 385, Susan Denastis and Lily Roan. Standing by then 386, Cameron Webster. Then we'll have 387, Harvey Wakeford. We are making a decision up here about the cutout. We will have to run that off, but we will do that after the last lady runs this afternoon. Give everyone an opportunity to come back and compete in that. So we've got quite a few, 12 or 13 or something on 23. We'll let you know very shortly the order of the draw after, I think the ladies draft, the person who can do all that is about number 2 out in the ladies, so very shortly after that we'll give you the names and numbers of the runoff for the cutout, and this draft hasn't been completed yet, so there still could be some more. we could even have a 24. Never know. Could we have a volunteer on the side gate, please? If we could have a volunteer on the side gate, please. And 2 on the front gate. We need some changeovers up here. We need 2 volunteers for the front gate and someone to volunteer on the side gate, please. Currently watching competitor 385, Susan Dynastis and Lily Roan. Standby then 386, Cameron Webster, 387, Harvey Wakeford, 388, Tim Hollis, 389, Stuart Wallace, 390, Michael Hayes. Score for Susan Dynastis, cutout 21, horsework 58.5, course 3 for an 82.5 with a 73.5 in her first round. That's an aggregate of 156, 156 for Susan Dynastis and Lily Roan. Watching competitor 386, Cameron Webster and Paris out on the course. 387's on camp, Harvey Wakefield, standby 388, Tim Hollis, 389, Stuart Wallace, 390, Michael Hayes, 391, Kerry Turner, 392, Lloyd Aquilina, and 393, Wayne Deneen. And we have a cutout of 22 for Cameron Webster and Paris. Had an 85.5 in the first round. That's a total of 108, aggregate of 108 for Cameron Webster and Paris. Out on course, competitor 387, Harvey Wakefield and Tellen. .388's in the camp, Tim Hollis, standby 389, Stuart Wallace. Cutout 15, horsework 59.5, course 4 for a 78.5 with an 86.5. We're just going to have a change to the score. We'll give you the score very shortly. Score for Harvey Wakefield and Tellen, cutout 15, horsework 59, course 4 for a 78 with an 86.5 in the first round. That's an aggregate of 164.5, 164.5 for Harvey Wakefield and Tellen. Tim Hollis is currently out on course at 388, riding Touchwood Comments. 389's on camp, that's Stuart Wallace, riding Denmore Cat. Standing by 390, Michael Hayes, 391, Kerry Turner, 392, Lloyd Aquilina, 393, Wayne Deneen, 394, Robert Leach, 395, Zeb Pearce, 396, Daniel Cheers, 397, Ken Knutson, and 398 will be Peter Webster. Score for Tim Hollis and Touchwood Comments. Cutout 14.5, horsework 58, course 4 for a 76.5 with a 78 in the first round. That is a total of 154.5 for Tim Hollis, and Touchwood commence. Out on course, 389, Stuart Wallace and Denmore Cat. Mick Hayes comes on camp with Shadak Maserati, comes in as competitor 390. Standing by then 391, Kerry Turner, 392, Lloyd Aquilina, 393, Wayne Deneen, 394, Robert Leach, 395, Zed Pearce, 396, Daniel Cheers. You're currently watching competitor 389, Stuart Wallace and Denmore Cat. Score for Stuart Wallace and Denmore Cat, cut out 21.5, horsework 62, course 4 for a total of 87.5. So 21 in the first round, that's a total of 108.5, aggregate 108.5. For Stuart Wallace and Denmore Cat, the score very shortly for competitor 390, Michael Hayes and Shadak Maserati. Kerry Turner's on camp at 391, standby 392, Lloyd Aquilina, 393, Wayne Deneen, 394, Robert Leach, 395, Zeb Pearce, 396, Daniel Cheers. (21) for cutout there for Michael Hayes with a 21, has a total score of 42. You're now watching competitor 391, Kerry Turner and Hingis. Kerry's out on the course into the camp, goes 392, Lloyd Aquilina. At the gates 393, Wayne Deneen. Standby then 394, Robert Leach. Score for Kerry Turner and Hingis, cut out 20, horsework 55, course 4 for a 79 with a 68.5 in the first round. That is an aggregate of 147.5, 147.5 for Kerry Turner and Hingis. Selecting his beast now is competitor 392, Lloyd Aquilina with track Cosy Nomad. Standing by is 393, Wayne Deneen with Hazelwood Cole. Then we'll have 394, Robert Leach, 395, Zeb Pearce, 396, Daniel Cheers, 397, Ken Knutson, 398, Peter Webster, 399, Tony Menkins, and 400 will be Hayley Condon. Score for Lloyd Aquilina, cut out 20. So 20 only there for Lloyd. 393 is looking over his cattle, Wayne Deneen, riding Hazelwood Cole. Standing by 394, Robert Leach, 395, Zeb Pearce. Score for Wayne Deneen and Hazelwood Cole, cut out 13.5. Horsework 44, course 2 for a 59.5 with an 86.5 in the first round. That is an aggregate of 146 points, 146 for Wayne Deneen and Hazelwood Cole. $3.94, Robert Leach is on camp with Peel Val Truce. Standing by then, $3.95, Zeb Pearce. $3.96, Daniel Cheers. $3.97, Ken Knutson. $3.98, Peter Webster. $3.99, Tony Menkins. $400, Hayley Condon. $4.01, Charles Tapp. $402, Toby Rolfe. $403, John Turvey. And $4.04 will be Robert Durkin, and that will be last but not least to complete the second round of this draft. You're watching competitor 394, Robert Leach and Peel Val Truce. 395, Zeb Pearce on Moxie Storm is in the cam. Stand by 396, Daniel Cheers. Score for Robert, cut out of 21.5 with a 76.5 in the first round, is an aggregate of 98. It's 98 points for Robert Leach and Peel Val Truce. Ten horses left to run to complete the McKechnie Earth Moving Open Camp Draft, round 2. And then we're going to go on with the ladies draft. Out on course, competitor 395, Zeb Pearce and Moxie Storm. Daniel Cheers goes on camp with Leiluka's Tilly Divine. Competitor 396, stand by 397, Ken Knutson. $22 for cutout there for Zeb Pearce and Maxie's Storm. Had an 88 in the first round. That's a grand total of 110. 110 aggregate for Zeb Pearce and Maxie's Storm. You're now watching competitor 396, Daniel Cheers, riding Gwen McMillan, Leiluka Tilly Divine. So this is Gwenny McMillan's nomination. Leiluka's Tilly Divine, ridden by Daniel Cheers. Then we'll have next competitor, 397, Ken Knutson, stand by 398, Peter Webster, and 399, Tony Meekins. $21 only there for Daniel Cheers with the 21 in the first round, gives an aggregate of 42. That's 42 for Daniel Cheers, riding Leiluka's Tilly Divine. 397 will be Ken Knutson, riding Kilbeggan Online, stand by 398, Peter Webster. 399, Tony Menkins. 400, Hayley Condon. 401, Charles Tapp. 402, Toby Rolfe. 403, John Turvey. And last competitor will be 404, Robert Durkin. That you're currently watching. Competitor 397, Ken Knutson. Kilbeggan Online. He's out on course into the camp. Goes 398, Peter Webster. Standby 399, Tony Menkins. $21 only there for Ken Knutson on Kilbeggan Online. He had an 85.5 in the first round. Gives him an aggregate of 106.5, 106.5. Selecting his beast now is competitor 398, Peter Webster with Lani. Standing by 399, Tony Menkins, 400, Hayley Condon. Out on course, competitor 398, Peter Webster and Lani. Tony Menkins on camp at 399, Delilah, standby 400, Hayley Condon, 401, Charles Tapp, 402, Toby Rolfe, 403, John Turvey, 404, Robert Durkin. You're currently watching competitor 399, Tony Menkins and Delilah. $21.5 for Peter Webster with a 21. That's an aggregate of 42.5 for Peter Webster and Lani. $399 is out on course. Tony Menkins with Delilah. 400 goes on camp. Hayley Condon. Standing by 401, Charles Tapp. Score for Tony Menkins and Delilah, cut out 22, horsework 63, course 4 for an 89. The 76.5 in the first round is an aggregate of 165.5, 165.5 for Tony Menkins and Delilah. Hayley Condon goes out on course at 400. The score coming through shortly for Hayley Condon and Para Parker Pepper. Cut out 22, horsework 61, course 4 for an 87, with a 72.5 in the first round. They have an aggregate of 159.5 for Hayley Condon and Para Park Pepper. Next competitor will be 401, Charles Tapp and 2 up. Standing by then 402, Toby Rolfe and Toby's Molly. Then we'll have 403 John Turvey, 404 Robert Durkin. We do have quite a few on 23. We'll let you know they are if we don't get a 24 before the end of this draft. But we will be running that off after the ladies' draft. Just a note to self there, judges, we will require you back to run off the cutout if we need you a bit later on. Sean O'Hanlon, we will be requiring you for the announcing for the ladies' draft. Sean, just giving you a bit of heads up. Out on course, competitor 401, Charles Tapp with 2 up. 402 on camp, Toby Rolfe, standby 403, John Turvey, 404, Robert Durkin. Score for Charles Tapp and 2 up. Score for Charles Tapp and 2 up, cut out 21.5, horsework 58, course 4 for a total of 83.5, with an 81.5 in the first round. That's an aggregate of 165. 165 for Charles Tapp and 2 up. 3 horses left to run to complete the second round of the McKechnie Earth Moving Open Camp Draft. Course 3's Gaiden is on course. Competitor 402, Toby Rolfe, and Toby's Molly. So score for John Turvey and Willinga Park Fable, cut out 22, horsework 63, course 4 for an 89. 86.5 in the first round. That is a total of 165.5. Aggregate 175, Aggregate 175.5 for John Turvey and Willinga Park Fable. I'll just give that score again. 22, 63 and 4 for an 89 with an 86.5. Total 175.5. Now watching competitor 404. This is the last competitor. It's Robert Durkin riding Yarrowa Cool Girl. Score for Robert Durkin and Yarrowa Cool Girl, cut out 21, horsework 62.5, course 4 for an 87.5 with an 87 in the first round. That gives Robert Durkin and Yarrowa Cool Girl an aggregate of 174.5, 174.5. And that completes the second round of the McKechnie Earth Moving Open Campdraft. So we didn't get ourselves a 24, so I can tell you that there will be a runoff for the cutout after the final lady runs. And we would like to have Luke Bennett and Little Miss Hooray, Bryony Puttycomb's Destiny of Her Own, Troy Palmer's Hell's A-Comin', Kylie Graham's Metallic Moon, Kylie Graham's One More Mellow, Joe Payne's Cashmont Bling, Mark Butsworth's A Little Turbulence, Mark also on Granny's Rocks and also on One Stylish Pepto, Shari Knutson, One Time Crimson, Peter Black's Child Play, Hugh Miles' Chick Acres. Now that is not the order of the draw, it will be redrawn. Lauren, after she has her run, she'll come back and redraw that, and we will run the cutout off at the completion of the ladies' draft. So we will be requiring those people and their horses to run off the cutout. Okay, I'll hand you over to Sean O'Hanlon to announce the ladies' draft.